versus the Royal Spartans, and then of course that brilliant matchup versus Team War, in which Omit were able to take it away in Game 5. So they've had to go a distance. Of course, it's not the first time that Omit roster would make an incredible lower bracket run all the way to a grand final victory. That was done by Omit Brooklyn in Season 2 of North American Challengers Elite. But Omit have gone the long way around to get to this grand finals. On the other side, though, Mission Magpies have been waiting in anticipation for a very long time. As you said at the start of the day, they had a nice sleep, a lot more than the teams in the lower bracket did, but now is the time for them to pop off.
Well, this is where it starts. We jump straight in a vault hardpoint between these two, and last time around with the Magpies 3-0 and Omit GG, does it spell what we are expecting to see in this series? Truth being told, I'm going to say no. I think Omit GG have shown they've got more than enough ice in just being able to get through the rest of the bracket.
Yeah, for sure. Omit GG are not a roster that really care about what's happened in the past. We've seen that multiple times this weekend. They took out their sister team in Omit Brooklyn, despite the fact that they lost to them last time around. They took out Royal Spartans, despite the fact that they lost to them last time around. Omit GG do not care about history. All they care about is the present. And right now, here in the present, it's time for our grand finals.
Well, here it goes. So far, so good as everybody throws their bodies into this. And oh, I'm not going to lie to you, that is going to be very confusing colouring for the rest of this game, but we will deal with that as time goes on. But keep an eye right now. Mythic's just trying to fight back on this P1.
Yeah, definitely turn 2, but it's not going to happen here. Omit GG going to win the first wave of gunfights and the early control over this hard point. We look back towards the last 4 hard points played from Omit. They've won every single one. And a big reason for that is the roaming sub presence. Johnny, and in particular Standy, have been running riot on maps over the last few matches. And that's going to be a couple of players that Mission Magpies will want to shut down. 6-0 start out of Johnny. Now make it 7-0. He just heard me.
It's not a great start for them. And of course, you can see they're already setting up for the next as well. Slow for the Magpies, but they haven't played today, so maybe it's to be expected, whereas over GG, they played 10 maps of high-level Call of Duty just to get here.
Now, Omit are definitely warmed up coming into this. Phenomenal start from Johnny at 9-2. Now Omit starting to be isolated towards the hard point here. Arste's fair amount to do. Having help inside the hard point, but both of those players will get shut down, and Mission Magpies find their way through here. Back 30 seconds, the Mission Magpies can definitely win if they hold these through. The problem is those split spawns now starting to come through. You're facing pressure on both sides of the hard point. You've alleviated some of it on one side, but Johnny is piecing. Doesn't matter what weapon he has in his hand right now, he's doing it all.
Well, still a little bit of a trade going down. It will go the way of Omit GG in the end. And now, for the Magpies, seriously behind as they head towards the P3. Brack has been maybe one of the star players for Omit GG, really cutting people down everywhere they go and slaying so heavily already on the side of Omit.
Omit have been so good at the start of these hard points. This hill has been actually a hill, I think, what we saw Vault Hardpoint played earlier on, where they deceptively managed to steal a lot of time away from Royal Spartans. So they could definitely do it again on this hard point if the setup is right. Great play call as well on towards the one in the middle of the map. Mythics look to be causing some issues, but flanking play from Standy will deal with him. Standy also finding value on the wraparound too. Mission Magpies might have found a little bit of value towards the point, but very quickly Henry finds himself isolated. Omit GG again doing such a good job as a roster trying to deal with Mission Magpies off this point.
And that is an unfortunate team kill because they were on a roll. I wonder how much more power Omit GG is going to put into this one. And already looked very good in the respawns in the last series. Haven't really slowed down. For the side of Mission Magpies, this rotation could mean everything to them.
And you've already got one player isolated. It's a good effort from Mission Magpies there to try and flip the map in your favor. But at no point in that hard point did it ever feel like they were ever going to do it. How about this for a situation here? Omit, 50 points to the good, in full control of a hill that they've shown they're very good at holding time and time again. Now you're starting to see these roaming subs really heat up in this game. Standy will get shut down. Now Brack will start to feel the heat just a little bit, but if you can find any value before you lose your life, that's great. You've let one player slip the net in the form of Mythics, but surely they'll be able to deal with him, and they will. Mission Magpies at the moment, they are trying to get players in these positions, but every single time that they do, they are being shut out.
There's just no silver lining. Mythics will find 2, but it's 2 where the rest of the team tries to pile on behind. And my goodness, could they do with some points? Seriously lacking here, the Magpies. Different day, different gravy.
Just look at the slaying discrepancy between these two teams right now. Johnny on his second big spree in the game. He started on an 8 spree, now on a 7 spree as we get ourselves into our second set of rotations here, Bryce. 100-point difference or so between these two teams. The players that have been going off for Mission Magpies the entirety of this tournament so far, the likes of Harry, the likes of Mythics, just not here. 5 and 13 from Harry, known as Lucifer in this game, is not good enough, and Johnny just continues to tear through the opposition. 9 spree for him. How much more damage can he do?
Well, about all of it, because there is no stopping him. 24 and 5. And right now, Mission Magpies, almost their mission is going to be, can we get out of the 100-point club? Because this is embarrassing.
Are these your champions? Say Omit GG. The advantage just continues to grow. And it's getting to the point now where it feels insurmountable. Mission Magpies here doing everything that they can, but I don't really think that that's a hell of a lot. Already here, looking towards the rotation. Players isolated. All of a sudden, Harry left up all on his lonesome. Stanley now the one to start to streak out. Players spawning out on the other side of the map. Mission Magpies looking down the barrel of one of the worst scorelines we've seen the entirety of the weekend. Boys, it's grand final. You got to wake up.
Yeah, this is getting a little bit embarrassing. Eventually get over 25 points. But looking to get to 160. And they are going to need to really turn this game around and somehow shut down Johnny. 28 and 7. Well, that says basically everything for it as well. Johnny just won't die.
Finally, Johnny does get shut down. Finally, something to talk about positively for Mission Magpies here. This would have to be the start of one of the best comebacks we've ever seen in a single game of Challengers. Stanley's still looking to do some damage towards the scrap time, though. And even in towards scrap time, the Mission Magpies do not get a moment of reprieve here. I look towards the rotation, and well, I think primarily you've got to start taking Johnny out of the play. There's no way Johnny wins this gunfight. Please don't let Johnny win this gunfight. He is doing ridiculous things at the moment, putting Mission Magpies on skates. And I was going to say, step number 1 needs to be taking Johnny out of the play and actually ensuring you do something towards this rotation, because last time you did nada. And even now, they are not prepared to push through. They don't feel comfortable to do so.
I don't really know what's going on with the Magpies. Made their way here last night and yet somehow have apparently still failed to turn up to the grand final. 175 to 58. Omit GG are burning them out of Vault over and over again. And while they're now getting a few trades going, it's only a few trades.
Finally, something to talk about. Finally, Mission Magpies seem to have woken up here. Is it too late, though? You're down by over 100 points. The deficit is stamming. Henry's trying to do the thing that is correct, which is to try to push through and flip their spawns out, but you've also got to kind of balance at the same time, getting what time you can off of B3. The former of those two things has gone awry. Henry is out of the play, and now you've also lost the latter. Mission Magpies, I mean, they are flailing at the moment. You're hoping for some kind of individual play, and I was going to say there for a second, it looks like maybe Mythics might be able to reduce it towards the next hill, but that just does not happen. Omit GG now in control of Nu.
The Magpies would need just a colossal effort, really. They would have to break this now, get in and lock it down, because it's going from bad to worse. They just haven't had the rotations where they needed them. And Stanley's looking to get even more kills to his name. Realistically, minimum on this team is like a 2.0 KD at the second, and there's no good words. There's nothing to say as a positive other than Omit GG are outclassing the Magpies in every single aspect.
Just by the way, just as an aside here, small aside, Johnny, 36 and 11. This guy is absolutely peeing on the opposition. Johnny even finds a double there, as Omit looks to do even more damage off the back of this hard point. Mission Magpies at this point, the objective is not to get 100-point club. You won't be able to do so off the back of this time, so gonna have to send it towards the next rotation. Johnny just 2 kills shy of a 40 bomb in this game, and he is not even done yet. Now on the hunt for more kills. RST has now been an absolute force for Omit, and now Johnny will find the 2 kills inside you. Mission Magpie's effort there to translate from one kill to another has gone awry. Omit continue to burn through them.
He's trying to find his way back into it as well as they get slightly closer to that 100-point mark. As tries to get everything moving forward, and Henry just caught out, but still manages to gun Johnny down there as well. And a couple of kills around P1. Might be able to get some time going down, but Stanley looking for 2 and not going to get it. Bance will lock that one, but they've been around it for a while. No time.
Yeah, I think they're very cautious about the fact that Omit are going to go at them at any given moment, and this is the moment right here. Brack on the hunt for these kills. Perhaps just a little bit too aggressive there from Brack. We'll end up getting the gunfight regardless. That's just how things are going at the moment here for Omit. Actually spotted out another target as well. And Brack is so damn confident right now. He is winning every single fight possible. Might as well send yourself for the last 4 seconds here. But again, feels like an inevitability at this point. Omit are just 36 points away from victory here in this game. One good break and hold will do it. It's a solid start towards this hill for Mission Magpies. They get the majority of the gunfights.
Oh, if they can somehow hold this entire hill, there is a snowball's chance. It's going to be very difficult, though. The pressure's still going to mount here. Omit GG just looking for any opportunity. And that's what they've been doing all game long. And Mythics will fall as well. Pressure mounting. Johnny going to be on the flank. He's cutting people through the front as well. They know the spawn out is going to be here as Lucifer looks for one, but he knows he's going to be outnumbered. And there's just not enough trades there from the Magpies to hold off Omit.
Just once again, Omit just doing such a good job as a team at the moment at getting these trades. Mission Magpies being a little lackluster and doing anything about it. They definitely set things up in the second half of this hard point, but that 100-point deficit that was built up early on in this game just continues to bear down upon them. It doesn't help that Omit continue to have streak after streak after streak. Johnny's been on a couple in this game. I think he's probably been on 3 or 4, if I'm honest. Danny also in the mix, as is Brack now as well. Everybody is having their moment here in this game for Omit. They want to make a statement in the first game of this grand final. It feels like they might well have done it here, but Mission Magpies at the very least do have some modicum of control. Predator missile coming down from the heavens is going to put a stop to them here for the moment, but again, it is only for a moment.
I'm actually more curious to see whether or not Johnny will hit this 50 bomb. Not a million miles away. Might actually happen. Bance will take him down for just a few seconds before he can do any more. Arsenis to the rescue. Back into the point, and they know they can just bleed this time out now, even with a few seconds left to go. Johnny waiting for another one towards the middle here. He's going to hit 49, but I don't know if there's going to be any more players for him to kill. Johnny, go for it. Go for the 50. He's got the 50 bomb here. Opening hard points. Omit GG sweep the Magpies away. And the Mission Magpies did fight back about halfway through. Unfortunately, nowhere near enough. As Johnny drops a 50 bomb on Vault hardpoint.
Just feels unfair. It really does feel unfair having Johnny on your team. The form that he is on right now. An MVP level performance he's given out over the last couple of series, and he's doing it here again in this grand final. What a start from Omit. And I mean the start very clearly. At the beginning of that game, it was a 100-point advantage and growing. And Mission Magpies could do nada. They were not slaying out. And you're right. I want to say, like, halfway through that game, Mission Magpies actually did start to fight back. They were slaying. The gunfights were significantly more 50-50. The game was still in control for Omit, make no mistake. But Mission Magpies actually had something of relevance to say. But by that point, the damage was done. There is such a thing as an insurmountable lead in hardpoint, no matter what sometimes we might say here on the desk. And, well, that was one.
Yeah, it was. I was actually just watching the replay to see exactly what Johnny got in the end. I'm fairly certain it was like a 2.6 KD almost, which really is kind of insane. Yeah, 50 and 19. He ended up dropping for that, which is just a scoreline you don't expect to see, especially with a game that slowly got a little bit closer than I was expecting. It just went on so long.
Yeah, it was just a slaying, right? I mean, we kind of referenced it at the beginning of the game where Mission Magpies, all 4 of the players were something like a 0.5 KD, more or less, or worse. And that is not something you can allow to happen out the gate of the game. It has to be said, I think there is a certain element of this that's just probably they are coming into this series cold. Again, a reminder, folks, the way that the kind of formatting works here is that Mission Magpies have been waiting for this matchup for a couple of matches. Omit GG have gone through Royal Spartans and Team War to get to this point, so they are thoroughly warm. Mission Magpies, I think you could definitely feel the fact that despite the fact that they undoubtedly had a practice station to work with, they've probably been having maybe a fake scrim or two ready to go, maybe even shooting some bots. It wasn't enough to warm them up before the match. Now we do see them in the middle and get warm. It just wasn't enough, but I'm expecting a little bit more out of Mission Magpies the further we go into this series.
Yeah, maybe it was a slow start, and it's just kind of crazy about how badly it did really go for them, especially considering how well they played against them at GG the last time around. And going to have a stern word with themselves, I think. That's going to be the kind of the takeaway for this is, hey, we can't do that. That's not acceptable in a grand final. I know it's a best of 7, and you've got a bit of time.
Yeah, I will say, I think, knowing these Mission Magpies guys, having casted them for a few years now, and I'm sure you're in the same boat, they are not quite the team to just throw their heads in the bin, right? They're going to be all right. They're going to hit their reset here. They're not going to be too stressed about that 1-0 lead for Omit. But of course, this is a best of 7, guys. So we've still got a lot of Call of Duty still to be played here in this grand final. Already in this search and destroy. Mission Magpie starting stronger, but that trade for Brack is going to make things infinitely more difficult. 25 seconds on the clock here, and this split is super duper weird. Omit, they're positing for an A plant, but they're giving the signals that it's actually going to be B.
After he's trying to get out and doesn't get out clean. That may be the biggest part of it already. Mythics is going to jump straight onto this. Surely has done. Brack needs to go for it as well. Finds one, but that's actually just burning time. Brack cannot see the bomb. They're going to have to try and get on it, and that's defused. Surely it is. It will be the Magpies taking round 1.
And that is the other side to that play. It was a solid play call from Omit, right? You know, you get the bomb down. The idea being that Mission Magpies on the rotation towards the A site should get turned and burned on by the couple of players that were situated inside B. Unfortunately, the problem is, if you do lose that player that was planting the bomb on A, you're essentially giving away a bomb plant for 3 as long as somebody from a Mission Magpies is waiting on the cross and doesn't let those guys get to the bomb in time. So, heads up play call from Mission Magpies. Good read of what Omit GG were trying to do to them. And to be fair, good play call from Omit, but it just doesn't work out. But you can play with rounds in Search and Destroy. You've got a 1-0 advantage in this series if you're Omit. It's okay to lose that.
Well, we know how good Omit have been in their hard points. S&D's not quite as rock solid, so for Magpies, an opportunity. A little bit of pressure going on. You can see Bance playing on an island. That's what he does best most of the time into this, and already Lucifer picking up that first kill onto Johnny. A gets a little bit more open. Bance backing off from B as well. They're going to try and stack the numbers here to make this push, but Stanley will be watching the cross.
Omit don't seem phased by the fact they've lost the first blood. They haven't changed their positioning whatsoever here. Long-range shot. Stanley gets perfectly predicted by Harry. Now Brack needs to immediately trade out. He's already been spotted. Now overwhelmed by 3 different players. Not on your Nelly, mate. Arstee's the last one left alive. Will piece up a couple of players. Desperately has to dip and dive away here. Needs to hit the regen before going out towards the middle of the map. Bance has spotted him. Arstee's now looking to play around this. Just try and play life, but 25 seconds is not a lot of time.
Can he catch him? Arstee's trying to look for the player crossing. And he might have got timing here. He finds the first. He will try and get in position as well. Bance is out of there. He's found Arstee's, but unfortunately he may have run out of time. Does Arstee's think he's crossed? He doesn't see him onto the bomb. He might have thought he's gone to the other bomb side. Bance is looking for him as well, and Bance is not going to find him. Arstee's is going to catch him. No, wait a minute. Oh my goodness. Arstee's almost threw it away. But that will go down to a 1-1.
That's a 1 versus 4.
Oh my God.
That is a 1 versus 4 for Arstee's. Are you kidding me? How on earth do you let that happen if you're Mission Magpies? The first 2 kills, fully down to Arstee's. But if you're the last couple of players there for Mission Magpies, you are not playing that together whatsoever. And whoever the penultimate player was for Mission Magpies, I think it was Bance in the middle of the map. Or it might have been Harry, either way. Whoever it was for Mission Magpies, they didn't necessarily throw that round, but I definitely don't think that helped. They probably should have been playing alongside their teammate. But regardless, Arstee's, you got to give them some credit there. That is a 1 versus 4, and you don't pull that off by sheer luck.
Well, so far so good. A lot of pressure now. Omit GG heading towards the B site. Only Henry stands in their way. Reinforcements coming over. Mythics is coming here, and when this nade flies in, they're going to know, and there should be an adjustment coming in from the Magpies. There we go. Nade in. The call will come through that there are bodies here. You can already see on the mini-map, the Magpies, slowly but surely, assigning more resources to this site.
Yeah, they want it. First blood drawn. Mission Magpies now starting to shake in their wellies inside the site. If Arstee's can make this wrap around through the middle of the map as well, it would be game over, but no. Arstee's shut down, so now they're going to have to get a little bit more brutal around the front line. You're losing the trades. Now, 2 versus 2. You take that. Bance goes out into the open. It's a freebie for Johnny now. Harry's been checked out. Has been found. Is focused on the first gunfight. Now being tagged up by a potential second here. Pushing through is Johnny, and he will find that frag. Omit. Once again, brilliant trades from them.
And they really are just experts at working it, even when they don't always have the numbers advantage in certain places. Omit GG just pulled apart the Magpies.
And again, to me, that all comes down to just one play, right? It is Bance. on the wraparound through the back line, an attempt to retake the site instead of playing your teammate in the 2 versus 2. Pushes right out into the open and gets eviscerated. Small plays like that can make the difference here on the biggest stage in challenges. Mission Magpies, a couple of fumbles so far in this search and destroy. One of them a pretty big one. Now gives Omit a 2-1 advantage, and they are looking to change the pace of this round down to a significantly slower one. Bant's tagged up. That's good information for Omit off the start of the round. They are getting these bomb sites on lock.
Couple of beads of sweat on Bant's brow there. Doesn't want to go down quite so early, and already time burning away. The Magpies looking to try and make some ingress into this site. So far, not really able to push, and as we cross that 40-second mark, somebody will have to make the call. Already you can see Standy is in a preeminent position, will back down.
Mission Magpies, they'll be very happy here with the fact they've got full site control. Standy, the only thing stopping them from actually getting the bomb down. They're very scared about it. 25 seconds left on the clock here. Starting to get a little bit squeezy around sight. Nade over the top here from Brack. Trades now. Car bomb from Arstees will be good enough. And time really dwindling down in this one. Mission Magpies, they wanted a frag or two before getting the bomb down. It is the thing that befalls them in the end. Omit, again, I think just continued to work off, not necessarily mistakes from Mission Magpies, because I don't want to call it that, but I don't think Mission Magpies are playing as confidently as they would otherwise at this point in time.
Well, it feels like Omit just way more confident on this now. What do Magpies have to do? It almost seems like they're too respectful of what Omit are doing on the map. Confidence may be shaken.
Johnny on 5 in a row going into this round number 5. RC car out. Call has been made from Omit. They've been so good at getting their way in towards the B site time and time again. Mission Magpies, the defense here kind of all rests on Henry. Needs to find some kind of value. Shots out, and immediately the reaction from Henry, again, stressed about that RC car, is to back away towards a teammate. If this RC car finds some value, that is so detrimental, but it's already done the job. You've already cleared space on the site.
Trophies down, preventing an easy retake for them. A huge flank coming in for the Magpies. If Johnny finds anything here, playing that hook, playing that corner, it will work for them, and there's a fight, and Lucifer will find Johnny already. Slight collapse now. It's going to be Omit pinned into this site. Already Stanley finds one. They're busting out. They won't stay into it as well as Arstees goes down. Mythic looking for it. It's point blank. Brack finds it now down to a 2 versus 2. Both players looking everywhere. Every corner needs to be checked. Nobody knows where anybody is. Lucifer flying around has found Brack, but it's a gunfight. The Brack wins. Bance goes down for it. A 1 versus 1. That player is too far away again. The clock defeats him, and Omit GG get another round.
And it's the last remaining players. It is perfectly played. What do you do when you're in a 2 versus 3? You don't have numbers. Just fly. Just absolutely fly. Don't even look for the kills in that situation. Just try to be a nuisance, because all you got to do is burn some time off the clock. That is the entire play call for the last couple of players there from Omit. And it works to perfection, despite a brilliant play call from Mission Magpies on the retake. Split just does not work out, and Omit burn enough time on the clock here. Search and Destroy would be the one thing, if anything, that I'd criticize Omit for over the last couple of series, albeit they were able to take that last game 5 away. This Search and Destroy from Omit is pretty much perfect.
The Magpies got to find some adjustment somewhere. Omit just seems so confident in this grand final. Henry, will he check the right corner? This is the corner that many players end up using. Hello, peekaboo, and Henry will get it. Gets himself off of that goose egg, but it goes back down to a 3 versus 3.
No calm here for Mission Magpies. The difference I want to see from Mission Magpies is try to get aggressive with this. You can't play passively. Shots on towards Arstees, or Johnny, excuse me, will at the very least give them enough space here to get this bomb down. And this is the key difference maker here for Mission Magpies. Now you've got the bomb down. You've done something in previous rounds that you failed to do. Omit now, the onus is on them to get this retake going.
Arstees, you can tell he's confident. He's basically just sitting in the open of this map, firing. The Magpies are turtling. They are cowering against it, and there is almost no confidence on the side of the Magpies. They're playing so cautiously. I don't know if they know Bance is here. Bance finds one, looks for the second. He's clutched up for them before. It's now down to a 1 versus 1 again. Clock is on his side. He's being hunted.
Brack has no idea where Bance is. This is such an incredibly smart play from Bance. You've got time now. All you got to do is check the bomb, and Brack might well find that frag, but that is a bit of brilliance from Bance. 1 versus 3, and it's, frankly, I just think a position that Omit have no real reason to check, right? You've got a couple of players towards the stage. Why would we ever expect the third and final player to also be stacked up towards the exact same position? Bance uses that little bit of information to his advantage. We'll be able to catch the players towards the bomb off guard. That second frag, by the way, is ridiculous.
Yeah,
so Bance,
they
experience wins out.
Like, they never knew he was... I mean, they saw two players, right? They saw the player towards the back. They saw the player underneath. They couldn't imagine that Bance was stacking there as well and not going for the trade. I think that's what threw them off completely. And Bance, the 1 versus 3, may be what the Magpies need. RCXD having a little drive. Henry now waiting. So far, Omit GG just trying to find any information already. Stanley takes one between the eyes, but it hasn't dropped him.
Yeah, this is a totally different look on the defense here for Mission Magpies. Prior rounds, they've had one player inside the B site, and that player has kind of unsuccessfully held it over and over again. This time, Mission Magpies, a couple of players inside ticket, but they will have to back up into that nade from Standy and that RC car pushing through. So Mission Magpies now looking for a retake once again. Standy for the middle of the map, though, about to catch both of them off guard. Standy goes huge. The round might have just fallen apart for Mission Magpies.
Oh, Standy's going to get the third as well. Possibly even the ace. Only Bant's going to be left alive. He'd have to do one better than he did last time and pull off the 1 versus 4. Not going to be any good. Omit GG. Another round here as they head towards map point.
And it was a good adaptation from Mission Magpies off the start of that round. You make the right play call. You know that your presence inside the site hasn't exactly afforded you that much control over B. Change things up just a little bit. But once again, the adaptations from Omit have been on point. That nade from Stanley completely blows the defense set up wide open. And then, of course, the reposition through the middle of the map as well. That is tough. And it's going to be a difficult pill for Mission Magpies to swallow now. They only need to stretch 4 rounds on the bounce here. Find a way back in towards this game and tie this series up. Henry at 1 and 7. If he can get things going, he might be able to find some momentum. But early aggression here from Omit.
Lucifer finds one already. Johnny's gone down. Henry trying to capitalize it as well. That extra kill, and he will get it. Headshot. They need to do everything and more. Arcee's going to go down. It goes down to a 1 versus 3. Brack left alone, and for the Magpies, and well, that's a lot of shouldering. I don't know if they saw him. They're still, everybody is just having a little wiggle on the minimap.
There's not really much that Brack can do here in this situation.
They don't have the info.
Yeah. Well, okay, never mind. That is crazy. Brack getting away for 2 freebies. He should get traded out here, though. He has no idea where the third player is. Or will he? Bance? I don't know if he's just, like, letting Brack get away here. Didn't know where that last player was, but... Oh, Bance narrowly avoids a 1 versus 3, and I was going to say there for a second, despite the fact that you don't know where that last player is, at the very least you should be able to play trades, and regardless of that fact, Brack is able to walk away with 2 kills and almost gets away with it for free.
Yeah, this is not even fun to watch at the moment. It feels like the Magpies are just trying to throw it. That was kind of crazy. And I thought they might have seen him, but then when I realized they were all just shouldering, and when I saw Lucifer turn around, I was like, they don't have the info. It's not a case of they're waiting for him to make himself known. They actually don't know where he is.
Oh boy, this has been a really back and forth and weird search and destroy. Mission Magpies, though, I said they needed to stretch 4 rounds on the bounce. That's the first. Initial shots out towards RCTs. A little bit of information. Omit have done this play 2 times already. RC car in towards the site, but the players are sticking this time around. Mission Magpies have doubled up. Is that RC car going to find any value? It's on the hunt for it. Mythix is in trouble, but the RC car goes, and that site is being held.
It looks like Omit GG might be using it as a distraction. Look at the minimap. A little bit of rotation coming around the back. Brack committing himself to it. So this all falls down to Harry, a.k.a. Lucifer. When that cross comes in, he will call it out, and there should be a rotation from the Magpies.
Gotta have it. Harry on the hunt for these kills. Hasn't seen anybody just yet. Has to see this cross. If he gets some bad timing here, that would not be great. Gets some brilliant timing, though. Standing now out and towards the open. On the hunt for some more value. Drops down. Not going to get the kill against Johnny, but the bomb now down. 15 seconds on the clock. It has to be go time for Omit.
And trying to get across, but they already know he's going to be here. Arsenis has not put the bomb down yet, but he will find the kill. Mythix finds Brack, and Arsenis goes to put it down, but Mythix has just dived in to stop it. And now Bance needs to stay alive. Oh my goodness. Bance out there for the trade. Could have done it by just surviving, but doesn't matter. Wins the gunfight and all is well. That one was a little bit more nervous than it needed to be, but the Magpie still alive.
I am not the healthiest guy at 26, mate. I need these guys to stop playing with my ticker right now. This is not good Call of Duty. There has been some crazy things happening between these two teams. Every single time that we've seen a player here, across the board, by the way, this doesn't just apply to Mission Magpies, having a play for a 1-versus-1, they rarely play for their life. They are going for the kill every single time. And there's another example of that. Fortunately, Mission Magpies win it. And they stay alive in this search and destroy. Now, Omit, defensive. Heavy defense as well. It's an aggressive one. Early shots on towards Johnny. That's some good information to get off the rip here. But Mission Magpies, they don't seem phased.
He's already going across, and they're trying to get into it as well. Johnny coming under an awful lot of pressure, and he's put bullets in about 18 people. Nobody dropped here, and Omit scrambling to back him up. Somehow Johnny isn't down either, and I think the Magpies are going all the way back across.
That's the right play call. Omit have to be fully committed towards this B site. They should be able to translate themselves over towards A here for a partial defense of the site. Mission Magpies aren't fast enough to capitalize, and Omit have actually pushed the player all the way forward here. Did Stanley just get spotted out? I think he did. The con will be made.
Oh, and Harry doesn't know that he's right on him. They're going to try and catch him. And he's been found. That call from Bance, well, end up picking it up himself. Arsenis with the nade going out. There it is. Looking for the players down low. Trophies will help out here as well when the bomb goes down. It will be the Magpies who have the numerical advantage. Omit trying to swing into action.
Yeah, on the hunt for any kind of exit frags here. Mission Magpies are backed all the way up. They are expecting some kind of crazy flanking play, and there it is. Johnny gets tagged up by Mythix. It's a big frag to take. Arsty's trying to make the wrap around. He's going to get tagged up as well. This is perfection here, but Brack has got himself in close 1-versus-3s before. It's not going to happen. It's a round 11 here as Mission Magpie string 3 rounds on the bounce. And that is a perfect play from the Europeans there. They get that rock down, and instead of sticking towards stage like they did last time, they anticipated a flanking play from Omit too, as a matter of fact, and they perfectly took both of them down.
And you had to be nervous when they were looking for Stan at the end of the stage. They knew he was there. They knew they had to grab him without being traded. I mean, a lot of that is balanced on the fact that Bance is 13-6. 3 rounds back-to-back. They found here the Magpies. They'll be looking for one more as they have the attack again.
This time, it is Mission Magpies with the RC car. We've seen this play thrice from Omit. Bances doesn't go anywhere near as far. Omit peek out of the sight to take it down. So you don't actually get any information off the back of RC car really beyond, well, there's one player at B, which is something you probably could have determined for yourselves here. So Mission Magpies, 30-second burn in the round here, and they are still stuck pretty much in their spawn.
They just don't have the information, and maybe they're hoping Omit will start panicking and moving about a bit too much. Eventually this push will come through. The Magpies slowly but surely moving towards A. It'll be Arsenis that I think will have that first call. Standy's going to be close as well. They've got to get over.
Yeah, you're running out of time here. You've burned a lot of time off the clock being cautious. Looks like we're seeing early search and destroy Mission Magpies. The go call has been made, though. One player towards the side. You take Stanley down. This becomes infinitely easier. You've lost a player on the cross, though. Nice trade out. Henry finding that frag. This rock's going down.
Brack might try and make a hero play. Bomb is down. He's looking for the exit here. Bance, I think he's been seen. No, it's Lucifer who's found him. Brack still not moving. Nobody giving him anything but a shoulder. Bance is all the way back in spawn for a cross. Brack hasn't found it, but he has found a gap. That is unbelievable. He's been allowed to do that. Bance has already found Johnny, and that's a reach out. There's no way he should have won it. Magpies tried to get that round given to Omit GG, but they clutch up in the end. A 4-round back-to-back reversal from the Magpies.
I am shook. I cannot believe what we just watched in the closing moments there. I could kind of see it like Raven Simone, a flashback before my very eyes, because there is no reason for Brack to be afforded that much space in a 1 versus 2. I know it's a 1 versus 3 effectively, but the 1 versus 2 and the players around him. Still, the fact that I thought Harry had seen him. I really thought Harry had some kind of knowledge as to where Brack was, but apparently not. Henry certainly didn't seem intent on making any kind of move. Didn't matter in the end. Henry able to clutch up and win that final 1 versus 1. And you're right, 4 rounds on the bounce there for Mission Magpies. And if anything, I want to say Mission Magpies played stellar search and destroy through the last 4 rounds. Through the first few that we saw from them, they were not confident. They were not confident whatsoever. They made so many terrible plays. They let Arcetes do that silly 1 versus 4 that should never have happened. Yeah, not great search and destroy off the start, but I think those back 4 rounds is what Mission Magpies needed. Obviously, not just to tie up the series prize, but also to actually get into the series.
Yeah, just kind of crazy in the end. And hey, obviously that, you know, cracked 18-year-old rookie, Bance, 15-6. Ridiculous from him. The 1 versus 3. A little bit of revenge for the 1 versus 4 that was pulled on them earlier. But that's when they needed him to turn up. In the S&Ds, and he's been doing it very consistently. By the way, that's the replay. I thought he had it. Brack will be forever upset about the bullet he missed, because that could have been the end of it. But look at the score. It was all Omit for so much of that game. And the Magpies, they get it and tie it up 1-1.
Yeah, and by the way, this should go to say just how many of those early rounds that Mission Magpies actually threw away, because through the first, 6 rounds, they actually obtained 4 of those first bloods. So Mission Magpies were definitely throwing through those first few. But in the end, it does not matter. Those final 4 rounds were pretty much as perfect as you could possibly get from Magpies, and that is the Magpies that we've wanted to see. You look at a grand finals and you expect the best of the best in challengers. Magpies have not really been giving us that through the hard point, certainly through the first half of that hard point, and through the first few rounds, of the search and destroy. But now they are in this series. Now we finally have a grand finals on our hands here.
Yeah, we certainly do. Well, the next map is almost upon us, but we're going to a quick break first. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Challengers. We're in the grand final of the Magpies versus Omit. And so far, 1-1. It was an absolute beating by Omit on the first hard point, and it looked like it could have been that on the search. But then the Magpies, 4 rounds back to back. Clutch up, tie it up, and now we head back into the respawn on the control.
And now it feels like Mission Magpies are actually in this series. For the first half of the hard point, it most certainly didn't feel like that. And for the first half of the search and destroy, it didn't feel that either. But they've got to win on the board. They're warmed up now into this control. They're hoping that they can use that momentum to swing forward. Off the start, though, doesn't look like that'll be the case. The one thing you have to do if you're Mission Magpies here in the respawn is shut the ARs down. Arstes and Brack have been trying all tournament long. Arstes has most certainly heated up over the last few series as well. So, Omit here, having a solid start. They're already starting to get things going on it.
So far, just managing to hold them at bay a little bit. It really does come down to if you get a wipe, if you can put them into the spawn. Haven't seen that many of it this weekend. Teams getting much better at breaking out of those spawn traps. It's happened in small flurries, but Bant's already looking to manipulate the spawn. That's 3 down, though. Bant will try and catch them, slow them down before they can do any more, and he already knows where Johnny is, but Johnny still wins the gunfight.
You got a long way to go before you do anything here towards A, so Mission Magpies. Potential moment where they're going to give up that second tick of progression here. Flanking play from Mythics. Is it going to actually produce anything in the moment? Information has obtained that you know there's a player towards the right side of the point, but there's nobody to act on that information, so instead, the wraparound, Stanley deals with it to perfection, picks up both of those gunfights. That is a donezo. You get one player pushed through and Harry, but these guys will be counting names. They know that something's afoot here. They know they've got to find Harry.
And Brack, that might just be enough. He's pushed through. A little bit of a fight on both sides of it. Harry's going to go down. Brack has not gone down quite yet, but I think he's been seen. Doesn't matter. Brack's better. Brack's better, and that's huge. That has pushed them back in the spawn. It might even be game over on this round already as Brack continues to put the pain down. It's a little bit tagged up there as well, but first tick in at B. And the rest of the Magpies trying to react here. Mythics has done worlds of good at holding them back.
Brack's still finding value, though. Brack's still finding value, though, towards Art. And that's the key issue here for Mission Magpies. They still haven't dealt with him. Brack now repositioned 7 in a row. Looking for more damage. Brack continues to fry through Mission Magpies, clipping their wings. 3 stack, and the round is done. Omit looking solid off the back of Brack's heroics. And again, Mission Magpies, I think they had one solid play throughout the entirety of that control round. It was bringing Harry through. That's what everything rested on. And as soon as Harry was found out, they had nothing to go up against them for.
That is an incredible performance. You have to transition from A to B, and Brack never stopped. You have to cut him down. Mythics did so much work as well. Is this another story? Respawns, Omit are just better.
Certainly looks like that at the moment, doesn't it? Getting vibes of the last 3 rounds of Vault Control for Omit versus Royal Spartans when they just hit the go button. They won 2 back-to-back offensive rounds. That was what we just saw right there. Not a roster scared to jump onto the point when they feel like they've got enough frags and send players forward to do some serious damage. Carnage caused by Brack in that round. Start of this one needs to be solid for Mission Magpies. So far, so good. But it's not solid enough just yet to hop onto the point. They still need some more frags here, Bryce.
Going back and forth here. Hoping to find another pick, and does find one. A little bit tagged up. We'll try and stay alive. It's a very slow burn here for the Magpies, and that will be Stanley finding one, and Bant's a little bit shaky, but good enough.
Omit have been so reliant on these roaming subs for the most part in respawns, especially here on Vault. It was a attempted play from Omit on the flank, but that goes awry. Gonna see another one here on the minimap. Johnny in behind enemy lines here. Somebody has to be watching it. Nobody from Mission Magpies is. Johnny's able to convert for a double, and that's the point going awry. You had 4 players on the point there, Mission Magpies, and yet still they couldn't watch every point of entry.
And that's going to be a problem. You can see with that wipe comes its own range of issues. Standy going to try and pick it up, and well, right now the Magpies, they have broken out. Still haven't got A, but plenty of time left on the clock here. Arstes is just punching them back into this as well. Got to be a bit careful here because Bance has found him, and well, Arstes doing his best to stay alive. Eventually will fall down as B will tick, but will it continue to? No, Stanley's going to be here. Going to get it all clear.
And if you're Mission Magpies, you need to use that distraction to do something towards the middle of the map. They just have not, to be frank about it. They're still concerned about potential flanking players pushing through. You can see there's the winning map with those exact kind of actions, but you're winning the majority of the fights at the very least here. Standy just calls game in the middle of the map. 25 seconds now. That's all your mid-map presence dissipated in front of your very eyes. Standy now on a 5 spree as well. He is feeling himself at the moment. Omit are on the hunt for Mission Magpies, and they found him.
They're just not getting any kills as Stanley goes to work. Only Mythic's still alive. 9 seconds, and Mythics might have to just jump on the point. Not even going to matter. A last hurrah, a last flurry from the Magpies, but they have to run through the choke points. No opportunities, and Omit got up 2-0.
It's just the way that Omit are frying at the moment. Everybody is on top form. Every single time it looks like Mission Magpies might have some kind of move forward. Omit deny. And I will say as well, there were a couple of moments in that control round where Mission Magpies probably could have played a little bit better as a team. They had like a 4-stack, I think it was, at the start of the round, and let a player through on the flank. You can't be letting things like that happen when you've got 4 different players in the same area. Again, feels like I've been saying this for the first 3 maps of this series so far, Bryce. If Mission Magpies can just tighten things up ever so slightly, and we know that they can because we saw it in the last 4 rounds of Search and Destroy, they will be able to fight back versus Omit.
Well, they're going to have to do that now in a really bad position. Again, the respawns just seem to be all Omit. And, well, Henry didn't even need to do anything there. Johnny cut down his own player. And he gets bounced as well, though. Henry will eventually get Johnny. And Henry just needs to stay alive. He knows it's not the greatest position for him. Going to be chowed here, and that's unfortunate timing. Stanley slides in for an easy 2.
How many more 2 pieces like that are we going to see? SMG's on fire at the moment. Standy 18-7. Surely not 19-7. Shots into the leg won't be good enough for the fight because it's okay. Omit have players here to pick up exactly where they left off, and one of those players is the other sub for Omit, Johnny. In and around the point. Second tick already through. Surely you don't let this happen if you're Mission Magpies. There's going to be a last little hit, but Arstes has already perfectly predicted where the potential players could be coming from. Contest is not good enough. Extra 60 seconds on the board here. 2 minutes 10 or so to make the push towards B happen.
Arstes just tried to make this push go through, and it might be Standy that is the difference maker. Johnny wants to stay alive. Standy is poised, ready for this as well.
That's unfortunate. Standy gets cut down. That's what Omit GG have been relying on these offensive efforts. It's rudimentary, but it works. Getting a player in towards up. See them try that there, and it does go all right. So this is actually looking like a fair bit of control here from Mission Magpie. So the first time in this game, it feels like they're doing everything right. But I love this from Omit on the response. They don't immediately just barrel towards the point. They send a couple different players at a potential flank hit. They know if they can get somebody behind watching that cross, Mission Magpies will be done for.
They're still doing just about a good enough job here. Henry might go for this spawn again. I think that's exactly what he's going to do. Bounce is trying to stay alive. There's a lot of pressure onto this point here as bullets being thrown every which way. Right now, Omit GG do not have that favourable situation where you get somebody into back house. So the Magpies can continue to hold as Mythics eventually joins the party. Henry again going for the spawn kills, but he's been ripped out of it. You see Brack already pushing that house spawn as well. Opportunity for Omit.
Cannot let Brack do what he did back in round number 1. They will tag him. Down for the count. Now Mission Magpie is trying to emulate the strategy of Omit. Mythics is the SMG to try and do it. Not going to find that second kill, though. You need to find a little bit more value. Donny slowly damaging the defense here. Now Omit, nobody to deal with on the front line. They can start to press the issue.
Oh, Stanley tried to make the play. The play that could have changed it. Brack putting players back on the back foot here. It's all about the next couple of kills. Magpie's trying to stay alive, trying to just keep the pressure back for them as well. Brack throwing bullets everywhere, but Stanley finds one. Mythics will get one back as well. Cannot find the second. Advantage here for Omit as they start getting bodies on. They've stopped the clock. 2 going to be on it, but that is an unfortunate car bomb. Brack still keeping it ticking, though. The third one is not that far away. And it is an 8 versus 3. Brack is trying to do everything he can, but with reinforcements not arriving anytime soon, the Magpies will hold on.
Honestly, I want to say a 1 versus 5 isn't possible, but it's Johnny in the position, so I don't know at this point, but no. It is not going to happen, and Mission Magpie is successful in stopping Omit from pushing through. You could tell the game plan from Omit there was to try and get players behind enemy lines, so they tried it on a multitude of different occasions with a multitude of different strategies. They tried to send players on the flank. That didn't work. They tried to get a couple of kills on the B zone and then push players through. That didn't work either. Mission Magpie is proving resilient at the moment. It is not by any means a resounding victory on round number 3. They give away every single tick of progression bar 1. But still, it is one that will keep them alive in this control. We need to see something a little bit more convincing out of them now, because right now, Mythix is the only one doing anything of note. He cannot be the only one doing so.
And this is where it's a little bit scary. Magpies on the attack haven't felt like they're in control of this game at any point. Can they now find a catalyst, warm up into this game, and stop Omit basically just running through them? Because every single kill, every single metric we have in terms of the slaying, it's all Omit.
They just get picked apart. There it is. 4 kills. Clean. Flawless. Omit don't lose a single player on that push. And now Mission Magpies, fundamentally, that was perfectly fine. They were watching every single point of entry. They just lost the fights, and there was never any trades because Omit hit all at the same time. They continue to not lose basically anybody in this game. 1 live lost in this round. Now make it 2 as Stanley goes down, but time's starting to dwindle. You've already lost 35 seconds. Mission Magpies need to go, and they need to go right now. You need to find some value. You need to get onto the point. Finally, they get the frag, and finally, Mission Magpies will jump it.
Well, Brack's going up top. He might be able to find something himself. There's just bodies going to be everywhere here. The Magpies cannot shoot in all directions, and Bance is trying to stay alive, but doesn't have the health, and will go down to Standy, and it's 1 by 1. The Magpies march into madness. They cannot get any sort of engine running. And every single time they do, Omit GG are there, guns up and ready.
What can you do? 25 seconds. We need one last-ditch effort from Mission Magpies. Couple of players looking to get towards the point here. 1 player inside to deal with. That's Brack, and you've got him. Now just get this last tick through. Get the extra 60 seconds. This has to be a stack.
He's going to get on it as well, but Sam's going to be there. It's another trade. They got off the point. Both of them, maybe miscommunication. We're looking. But they've got the extra time. Do they have the extra lives? Do they have the ability? That's the real question. Arseny's going to try and stop this transition. Sandy's going to be here as well. Already tagged the player up. Somebody will chal him. Sandy eventually just trying to get it, but he's being shouldered to death. Nobody forward for the Magpies either, as Sandy eventually goes all the way round. And hope still reigns here in the Magpies.
They've got player push forward. Omit feel like they're being cut off at the source here. Nice double coming through from Mythix. That's 5 in a row now for Kim. Nice nades over the top though. Trophy system not there to stop it. Bance weakened by it. No chance to get it done there. So we will see a reset here. If you're Henry, the furthest player push forward, you gotta wait for your teammates to come off the spawn. I'm curious what the reaction looks like for Mission Magpies. You can already see Omit potentially putting players in places where Mission Magpies might look to flank. They're going to do so through you. If they get a couple of kills, get a player in towards Mission Magpies might have a chance of forcing round 5.
Magpies are a little bit upset as well, because that trophy was down that last push, but just hadn't activated in time, and there was almost an opportunity. Bance would have to go massive here to give him the chance to get back into this map. It's not really going to happen. 4 versus 9. The Magpies swing and a miss. They all stacked for it. And any single player now goes down. There will not be any reinforcements for the Magpies as they try to get into it. And Johnny already finds that first one, and Brack will find the second. It goes down to a 2 versus 7. Trophy will be down, but with only 2 of them, is it going to be enough?
Yeah, call has been made. Just stack the point here in this situation. Second tick now through. Trophy system damages. Bance, you've lost Mythix, and you've lost the game. Omit come out on top. First couple of rounds were pure perfection from the Omit roster. The Mission Magpies, they fought back as they have done towards the second half of every single game in this grand final thus far, Bryce, but it just wasn't enough.
Very, very difficult for them to get from that point, but Omit did just look better. Very easy to say. Stanley dropping 35 and 18. Johnny 32 and 21. They are frying them. For the Magpies, you cannot continue to go that far down and hope to get back into the game time and time again. And now they find themselves down in the series one more time.
Yeah, it's just what these guys do best. Omit have done it all day long here on the lower bracket run. Yesterday in the winners bracket as well. Every single time that we've seen Omit, particularly on Vault, I mean, it is a map that plays around SMG so damn well. They just have this playstyle of absolutely running rings around the opposition. It's both Stanley and Johnny, and albeit I think yesterday we saw a lot more of Johnny doing it. Today, Stanley has been getting involved in the mixer, being a constant nuisance. You constantly have to be worrying about what's going on behind you. And albeit the early game here on Vault control was down a Brack, getting that early control inside I think it was what, an 8 spree is what he finished on, or something ridiculous like that. Like, that was all down a Brack. Everything else, I think, for the next 3 rounds, even the one they lost, was pure map presence from Stanley and Johnny being constant nuisances, and Mission Magpies never really felt like they had the timing to deal with them. Just cannot deal with those SMGs. I don't think there's a better SMG duo right now at this event, the way that those guys have been playing.
Well, got to give credit to the Magpies for still fighting, though. And I wanted to go back and quickly talk actually about that double nade that happened. That trophy, it felt like it was down. You heard the deploy noise, but maybe a half a second too much, or maybe the grenade just exploded before it could really get going. It was close. Very, very close. They put the trophy down for that exact reason, and unfortunately lost 2 players to the grenade. So if that hadn't happened, maybe, just maybe, the Magpies game would still be going on in the control. But we have another respawn, a hard point, and for the Magpies, you've got to be better than the last time.
Yeah, last time around, I don't really know how much I can take away from the first game in this best of 7, just because of the fact that it was Magpies coming in. I think from what we were seeing pretty cold, they were frankly just not slaying out whatsoever, and there's not much you can do when you're losing, I should say, 80% of your gunfights. Omit dominated them for 4 or 5 hard points in a row. That led to an insurmountable advantage. So for this one, not too sure what to expect. What I will say is that Omit have been on point, generally speaking, in their hard points. Their respawns on the whole, as you noted, in that control has been exemplary, and it's been down to the team play. So I'd have Omit if I'm going into this hard point.
We'll see. Magpies trying to get a little bit of a run going there. And we'll get the time, potentially, but this is all going to be about the rotation. You can already see. Big split from Omit GG. They're going to try and get every single kill they can here by squeezing the Mission Magpies, and Arcedes will already find one. He's been looking pretty good this series as well. A consistent slayer for them.
Yeah, Arcedes maybe didn't turn up so much in that last game. We weren't going to talk about it because it didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. They won the game, but he might not have been slain in the last game, but he has most certainly had his moments here for Omit. Maybe not so much the player we talk about comparatively to the other 3, but there is a reason that Arcedes was brought to this lineup before this event. Back of Season 2, they wanted to see improvements, and with him, they could potentially win the entire thing. But as we look back towards this hard point right now, Bryce, Mission Magpies in control, having to deal with presence on both sides of this hard point. Henry, unfortunately, does get overwhelmed there. Omit now looking to get back in for the back 30 seconds here.
And Mythics, that was a kill he could have really done with, as at the moment they're getting nothing, and they might just have to settle for going for the rotation. You can even see they're not really winning any gunfights at all. Bats is 0 and 6 to kick this one off, especially considering last time he was on this map, he dropped, what, 15 and 6 in the S&D, and it's getting a little bit worse for him here.
Banto and 7 is just not going to be helpful for Mission Magpies here. Like, I don't want to take too much away from the first couple of hard points. It is currently a 30-point advantage to Omit, but cannot afford to let this happen over and over again. Mythics potentially player to blow this play wide open. Flanking play momentarily distracts around the front. Henry going to get cut short, and now Mythics needs to play his life for even longer. Cannot get involved in the play because you don't have any help from your teammates, and you're unlikely to absolutely burn through 3 different players at the same time. It's just not that great in the grand scheme of things. Rogue spawns do come through, though. It's a spawn clip on the whole. Do Omit read it? I think they do, but they didn't expect it to be that fast, and finally Bance is on the board. It's good enough for the break.
And well, there's some confidence kills. Sometimes those are just what you need to kick things off, but Omit's still looking like the dominant team. Every single respawn they've been ahead, and realistically the S&D they could have had as well. For Mission Magpies, going to have to start having a little bit better of a slaying game as we head towards this next rotation.
Now, we'll say, for the slaying advantage that Omit have at this point in time, it doesn't feel like they've got that much of an advantage in this game. It certainly isn't an insurmountable one. Mission Magpies can come back, but you have to start winning some rotations here. You've lost every single one for the first 4 hard points of this game. I'm getting vibes back to the beginning of Vault hardpoint, albeit that one, I think you had an excuse. This time, you do not. You need to start winning these gunfights.
There was a pre-fire going underneath, and Johnny still gets away with it. Nobody able to get him out of this point. Eventually, Johnny will try and make himself known and use the pistol with a devastating effect. He shouldn't have got two there. And somehow it gets back with Bans managing to get some kills back into the point here, but the Magpies desperately need this time. Again, the same story as the first respawn. It's getting away from them.
Again, I don't think it's quite as damaging as the first hardpoint, right? You go back to that first hardpoint and what was it, 100-point lead at the end of the third hill? I think it was 120-20 or something ridiculous like that. Like, this is a much better effort from Mission Magpies, but again, the same kind of story relies where they just aren't slaying out. Henry now the only one on the roster positive. You're losing the first engagements on these rotations. It's happened once again here. Mission Magpies just late to the party, and they didn't even bring any presents. Johnny comes through for a couple of kills here. You're losing the trades. Bant's the only one to find any value whatsoever. He is on 5 in a row, but that's a fat lot of good when the rest of your roster isn't doing anything.
And time only gets worse the longer this goes on. Omit just looking so confident, so slick with it. Well, there's a little bit of a wipe, actually, and hey, the Magpies, opportunity to get 30 more points.
And we'll take this time. 20 seconds here that I think Omit don't actually want to give away. They're actually going to be sending a fair bit of value towards this hardpoint. Continuing rotation towards P1 is really close by. It doesn't really lose anything for it, and it works out of perfection. You find a couple of kills. It is a worthy investment in towards the scrap time. Even Bant's finding these kills isn't going to equate to any time because he's so invested into the fights that he's not getting any time for it. Bant is desperately trying to do something here in this situation. This is the longest gunfight in the world. Bant ends up winning it, but does it really earn you anything? To be honest, no.
Runs out of ammunition on 2 different guns. That's got to be a little bit frustrating, but there's one positive you can pull from this is that the Mission Magpies seem to be clawing their way back into this game little by little. And Mythics is shooting absolute nukes by the look of it.
I think he's definitely been doing a lot better over the last couple of hard points. I think I was saying that Henry was the only one slaying out as we got into P2. Now it feels like as we get into the second set of rotations here, Mythics has started to wake up just a little bit. Bants has also had a couple of moments. He had a 5-spree towards the end of P4. So Mission Magpies here starting to get in the game. Nice couple of kills coming through from Harry here. That's a big scrap time. Again, you're right. They are closing the gap, but there's narrative that they aren't winning these rotations hasn't really changed just yet. This is the first time they're going to get first look at it, but they need to go huge on these initials.
Brack's going for a very long flank. Nobody knows he's going to be here quite yet as OMG breaks straight into this point. Didn't have the rotation, said, all right, we'll just crack it open regardless. And for the Magpies, they're going to have to try and adjust here as Johnny continues to go to work. He was such a force in the first one. Hasn't obviously put up that same stat line, but so far doing pretty well.
Oh, that's not fair. That is absolutely not fair. Johnny pulling off those couple of kills. Henry will come through for a couple himself. And actually, I think that rotational play from Brack ended up messing up Omit here. Despite the fact they do manage to garner potentially the scrap time. 20 seconds worth fighting for. Mission Magpie should give this one last shake. Mission Magpie's only got to look at that hard point because Brack flipped the spawns out. So that's time that they wouldn't have gotten if not for that Brack play. Now they're going to have to go at the scrap time, though, and go towards new. And that means the lead has grown once again to, again, not an insurmountable amount, but one that is daunting for Mission Magpies to deal with. Players now starting to spawn out on the other side of the map. And if you're a Bants, you're shaking in your wellies. You've got a lot to do here.
Well, a lot of people expecting a hero play, and oh, it's just one. It's it. The rest of the team actually fighting. Arcades quite some way away, and Magpies, it's the same story as the last hard point. They're down by like 100 points almost, and really struggling to match anything that Omit are doing. Omit just superior in almost every single aspect of it. They have the rotation again. They lock it down. They get the kills. Magpies have not been able to get those rotation lock-ins.
I think everyone won the entirety of the game thus far. Mythics is trying to do something with the scrap time here. I think there might be an extra bullets coming out from Johnny as well towards that second player, but still. They are fighting for scraps at this point in the game. I now consider this a lead that feels very difficult to come back from. Omit have got that 100-point deficit that won them game number 1. They are so damn good at securing pretty much every single rotation. Here's another chance though. Mission Magpies, I mean, this is the third hard point in this game, which they've managed to secure rotation first. They need to hold it for a full 60, and they're already starting to lose bodies.
Okay, Lucifer trying to hold down the cross here, and well, there comes the missile, and only going to be Bants left alive as they try to shoot his toes, and Stanley will get him out of that point before they can do any more. Omit GG looking to go 3-1 up in this series, and they are very close to doing so.
Just yet another break in which Mission Magpies cannot deal with the firepower that Omit are bringing to the table here. 26 and 18 from Sandy, 27 and 16 from Johnny. How many times am I going to say it? It is a joke that these guys are even allowed to play the game. Just 17 points away from victory now. They could still finish it here.
Magpies are going to have to move. Omit GG just doing such big work in holding back the tide. And, well, they won't have the tick for ending onto this one. So the Magpies will delay the inevitable.
Just looking for new control now. Already losing the first few gunfights. 3-for-1 trade. That's not good enough. One last player remaining. Mythix is finding value. Now you're in towards the point. This game looks like it is done. One last hurrah from Omit. Can they get towards the point in time? Fortunately, nobody from Omit in towards the point. Bance will not find more than 2. And it's a valiant effort. Mythix will actually take the last player out of the point. 249. Omit have not finished this game just yet.
Well, and they're still managing to get the kills as well, but for Omit, this could just be all day. They can continue just to trade kills. They don't even need to touch the point. They just need to keep flying at it. Eventually, the Magpies will fail, and, well, that'll be 3. Somebody will jump in to end it, and somehow, man's keeping it alive. Just end the game. Oh, my goodness. Eventually, Johnny will survive for long enough to get 1 point. Omit GG will take the other respawn. 3 of them so far. Again, dominant performance. Mission Magpies are not measuring up.
Man. Omit in these hard points, so difficult to take down. That is now 6 hard points, I believe they've won in a row. I'm not too sure beyond that. Looking towards their upper bracket side, I imagine that it is just 6, considering they got knocked into the lower bracket by Mission Magpies earlier on in the tournament, but they look final in respawn at the moment, and I'm going to say it over and over again. It is down to those SMGs. Yes, the ARs are doing something. Yes, Brack is doing the exact same things that he was doing back in Challengers Elite Season 2, but still, those SMGs have been performing pretty much every single game. They have constantly been outgunning their opposition, and there's not been really much of a response from Mission Magpies whatsoever.
No, there hasn't, and you got to ask yourself, how do they come back from this? Because all we've been talking about is just how dominant it's been, and realistically, if the Magpies didn't make a 4-round run on the S&D, this would already be over. We'd already be putting the crown onto Omit. This may have to be one of the greatest team talks of all time.
Yeah, fortunately enough, you do have Skyline Search and Destroy up next, and I think that's probably the easiest way into the series for Mission Magpies. Game number 2 certainly showed that, but we look back towards this game, and those rotations from Mission Magpies were left lacking, I think, so many times. And albeit, I think it's kind of a 50-50 thing of maybe Mission Magpies slipped up every so often on actually obtaining said rotation. But also, shout out to Omit, because their spawn manipulation over and over again was pretty much perfect. Even that play that I called out from Brack, I think it was, towards P2 on that second set, right, where Brack made the play call that, hey, I'm just going to go on a really long flank. It actually manipulated the spawns against them for that kill. They were confident that they could retake the hard point and fight it from the front, and that benefited them for the rotation towards the next hard point. It gave them the spawns for rotation towards P3. That, of course, is why Vance was isolated on that rotation. It's small things like that the reason I absolutely love watching Omit and hardpoint. We can check out the end of the game analysis here on how that hardpoint did break down, and despite like a sort of, I guess, a mid-game slowdown where maybe Mission Magpies had one hardpoint, at no point in that game did I ever feel like Mission Magpies were in control.
No, they weren't. It was always a fight from the back foot, and the rotations just didn't really go well for it. It never felt like they were in the position they wanted to be in. They just sort of had to keep scraping their way back into it, and unfortunately, there was no scraping. There was not enough slaying, and there wasn't really a great amount they could do. And now the question is asked, is there anything left for the Magpies who made their way here all the way through the winner's bracket? Or is Omit GG, who have been running the gauntlet, are they the better team? It's certainly something I'll look forward to seeing.
Yeah, we do go into a search and destroy next. And, you know, going back to where, I guess, Mission Magpies have found their way into this grand final so far, it has been the search and destroy, right? And albeit it was a 5-2 choke from Omit, they would have actually won this series right now had they just won one more search and destroy round. It has to be said that those back 4 rounds from Mission Magpies were stellar. Like, it was pretty much perfect search and destroy. They won first blood every single time. They were playing as a roster really damn well. Bance was playing out of his mind. I think he finished with something like 15 kills or something ridiculous like that. It certainly does help when you have an injury performance like that. But that, to me, is the way back into the series. Mission Magpies got to get it done here on the search and destroy.
Certainly do. Well, the next map is almost upon us, but we're going to go for a quick break first. See you in just a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We head into our next game out, Skyline Search and Destroy. This is where the Magpies have been a little bit strong, but the truth is Skyline is a bit of a chaotic map and it can be difficult for teams to get going on it. However, they need to. Omit GG are on series point.
I gotta see Mission Magpies fly at the start of this search and destroy. Brilliant read on towards Johnny. Mission Magpies now just going to back all the way up out of this site. Do not give anything away for free to Omit.
Standy finds one though. Arcees finds a second. Standy's going to go for the defuse here. This is so far back. Nobody has eyes on. And Arcees is like, all right, well, they've got a chow me super wide and that's been defused. That's a lot of space to give up.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I kind of like the idea of retreating and not giving anything away for 3. I don't like the idea of fully retreating, like having no presence whatsoever in the middle of the map. Like, there wasn't even an effort there from Mission Magpies on the retake to push through the middle of the map. Like, everybody towards grass, everybody towards cobble. That's not a good play on the whole for Mission Magpies. Just a couple of adjustments, and that would have been significantly better, but... Again, it's the same kind of things that we were talking about in those early search and destroy rounds earlier on at the start of this grand final. That red card search and destroy, the first 8 rounds of play, left lacking for Mission Magpies. Need to see something better here from them. That cannot happen again.
So far, nobody really taking too much map control onto this. Everybody's sort of just squaring up, looking for information. Johnny down low, Brack up top. Bomb sitting in the bathroom and nobody making too many moves. That call might come through here for Arcees that there might be a safe rotate.
Mythix is trying to be the playmaker here for Mission Magpies. I just did not have the balls to move it. Did not want to go whatsoever. Instead, now the play call, I think, of information from Harry and Bance that this is definitely going to be an A kit. Now looking for the gunfights. Arcees runs out of bullets in the reload, so now full A control. But the reaction from Omit GG is perfect. They rotate right around to B because Mission Magpies had fully abandoned ship.
Big kill, though, from Henry. Gets away alive as well. Should go down, was weak. And Brack pushes through. This means Mythix in a 1 versus 2. Bomb's still not going to be down. Mythic's going to find them! Oh, my goodness! They jumped into him. A double rotate cost them the round.
Oh, Mythix. Goodness me, he found a 4-leaf clover this morning. No way you get these for free. Really well played from Mythix. Very fortunate to have both players kind of fall into his lap like that, because that round for Mission Magpies, again, is not the best play call. I kind of like it somewhat, right? You get the information that this is definitely going to be an A hit. So you do make the commitment, but once again, it feels almost like an overcommitment that you pull all of your resources off B. Omit work off the back of that to get full site control. So Mythics is very fortunate to win that 1 versus 2. Now Mission Magpies finally around on the board here, playing much, much slower. They're waiting for that aggression from Omit.
So far, Magpies haven't made the move. Everybody being a little bit more cautious. Brack cannot see where Bance is, but will continue to aim in this general direction. Don't know if he saw him there. I think he will do now, yeah. Brack trying to take this fight here, but it is advantage to Omit.
Now, you've lost a player in this situation. It's so difficult to regain control because you played so passively. That's a downside of doing so. Now, you've got to take these players out of the sight. Arsty's going to find more value. You're already down to 1 remaining player here. Harry's going to do nada. And again, it's a good play call out of Mission Magpies in theory, but the execution as soon as you lose the first player probably needs to be a little bit more venomous. They had no map control whatsoever because they did choose to give it up to Omit.
And so far, so good for Omit onto that one. S&D. Everybody's playing a little bit more cautious than I was expecting. No big hits coming out yet. The team's going to do it, though. It's probably going to be Omit.
I'm expecting Omit to start to catch fire in the search and destroy. Aggression off the start of these rounds is what I'm looking to see. We're actually seeing aggression from Mission Magpies here. They immediately send Mythics through the middle of the map to try and catch players off on the cross. But Omit have already made said cross. So now he's looking for any extra value he could possibly find. Keeping an eye on player number 7 right above him though. Brack could still blow this play wide open. I'm expecting a trade, and there it is. 2 for 2 we go here. Omit now still going to get this bomb down, but it is slap bang in the middle of the map.
Vance knows this as well. Trying to work out where the players are going, and it's already been picked up, and Vance has been found, but Johnny chooses not to continue the gunfight. 49 seconds left, still a 2 versus 2. Bomb will go down here for Omit.
Or at least Mission Magpies playing together here in this play. Got to clear out sight before you make this move.
And they clear nothing. End up losing the round. Omit just find a little bit of timing and get it done.
Just unfortunate there. And that is just one of those situations where the 2v2 is played perfectly by Arsty's and Johnny. Playing the corners, playing the trades. Good effort there on the 2 versus 2 from Mission Magpies, but it is not good enough. And we are, again, just like in that prior search and destroy, seeing sparks of hope from Mission Magpies, but not catching fire just yet. Worth saying, though, we go back to that game number 2. We know that it took them until basically the back end of the search and destroy to actually do anything of note. So could well be the same narrative again here, but they got to have an aggressive round. It has to be down to them. RC car out will slow them down. It has been given good information here to Omit. They're not going to stop this bomb plant from going down.
Advantage for Magpies this time, but with that first blood even more so, will be traded out again. Magpies trying the same strategy. Anchor way back at the back of spawn. Bance waiting for any sort of push coming through and will find one. Double checks the bomb. Gets back into cover behind the sofa. And that's a big hit, and that's probably what they were looking for last time. Get that first kill, turtle up again, and force the enemy team to come towards you. The Magpies did a round back.
Yeah, and the only reason that doesn't work this time around for Omit on the retake is the fact that they don't play it anywhere near the same way. It's a lot more individual. They give a lot more of themselves away for free. They push out of grass comparatively to what they did before, which is had a player on the defuse while somebody was on the overwatch with the AR. That presence wasn't even through the middle of the map. It was all down a bouncing cobble. So if anything, that's not the greatest of retakes from Omit. I still don't necessarily love that post-plant position from Mission Magpies. But you know what? If it works, it doesn't matter. It wins you the round. One difference in that round as well is that Mission Magpies did actually draw first blood. So now, Mission Magpies. Finally a first blood on the board here. They lost 3 back-to-back. Now they're starting to feel a little bit more aggressive, confident. You can feel it. They've taken control of the A site. The comm from Omit might actually be an underpush towards B here.
Vance taking a little bit of map control. Looking for this first info. He's going to call it, and that is the worst timing you could possibly see. Goes to put a trophy down. Will die because of it. Advantage to Omit.
Now you got to pull off 2 versus 4, both on the same side of the map as well. Nothing particularly special to offer. Mythix tries, he might. Harry tries, he might. Both of those players are doing nada. And yeah, that is just an unfortunate bit of Call of Duty timing. Using a bit of utility at the wrong time there. Ends up taking one player out of the play, and from there the round does fall apart. But that is fundamental Call of Duty from both sides. It is just Omit who come out of top. They are just 2 S&D rounds away from being champions here in Texas.
Well, well, well. Omit will have to do basically the same thing again. They need all of the rounds, all of the time. And maybe a little bit more luck than that last one they had. 2 players got caught with things in their hands. Mission Magpies will get this bomb down. Worked for them last time. Can they capture lightning in a bottle a second?
Nice first blood from Mythix this time around. Also finding value elsewhere. Stanley, the player furthest push forward, was looking for an immediate trade on towards Harry, but Harry has got the hell out of there. Smoke and mirrors for him. He found value elsewhere. Mission Magpies have gotten up the site once again. Arsty's now in the position, but you don't have a second player. Stanley is preoccupied through the middle of the map here. Gonna find value on towards 1. Time starting to run out in this round. 15 seconds. Arsty, huge 1 versus 1. You end up losing it. And Mission Magpies, that is the 3rd time that they've played that strategy, and the fact they've got numbers probably helps them pull it off.
And they're feeling a bit confident about their post-plant strategy because it's working for them. The problem being is that they kind of need to get a defense to equal this one up. And that's what crucial. If Omit win this, they'll go on to map and series point. So can the Magpies do any better?
Big round from Magpies. Trying to garner some momentum back into this game. Omit. Early A site control. Stuns and utility over the top. Will be good enough to get it down. Mid-map presence, though, from Mission Magpies. You haven't cleared things out whatsoever. Mythic's able to walk straight towards the site and find 2. You don't find the 3rd. That's not the end of the world, though. The damage is done. That is really poor mid-map control from Omit.
Well, we spoke about the Magpies needed to get that defensive round in, and that's exactly what they've just done. Mythix strikes. And Omit fall apart. The question is now, with 2 more rounds for either side, who walks away the victor? Omit, the championship. For the Magpies, just a chance to continue on in this series.
And there's now 2 rounds on the bounce here from Mission Magpies. 2 first bloods as well. Getting it done via elimination. Stanley watching the cross. Mid-map presence has been a big reason why teams have been able to win rounds so far. Mythix getting over-aggressive, but it's okay. You take those trades. Your worry now needs to be about what's going on around the A site here. They are on the hunt for trades, and Henry's going to find it. So 2v2 we go. And there will now be a bit of a calm before the inevitable storm that is this re-hit from both rosters.
They've lost him. Henry's like, I know where he went. I just don't know where he's gone. Everybody checking their corners, trying to find out if somebody has snuck away. And they're paranoid. The Magpies don't know. They're like, where on earth are they? Henry will get bombed down. All becomes a little bit square. Omit will start to move into this for the retake.
And you wonder whether the post-plant position from Mission Magpies will throw Omit off here. They have chosen not to go back towards Cobble. Instead, they're playing this one aggressive. Vance's positioning. Gives himself away for 3. You didn't need to check that in the moment. Comment's been made towards Henry, though. And now you go win the fights more honestly.
And Vance with a nade already takes down Arsenes, and Bragg has to back off. And the Magpies scrambling to stay alive. Their Vance hit the movement to get out, and now they're just throwing shoulders, and they will get the second one as well. The Magpies get another around the board, but that was stressful. You could tell on the mini-map. The Magpies had no idea where they would hit from. They were like, we don't know where they are. We don't know where they've gone. We haven't seen them in about 35 seconds. Let's just sit here and hope for the best. And Bance didn't throw a shoulder. He threw a full body and escaped.
Dude, Bance is so lucky he did not get eviscerated there on that throat. Out into the open he went, and right into the firing line. Omit were not quite ready for that challenge, and to be fair, why would you ever be? But it is now 3 rounds in a row here from Mission Magpies. Surely they don't do it again. Late game resurgences seems to be the Magpie specialty. Omit have been good on getting A-site control. Our C-car from Bance will get tagged up though. Oh, Bance, excuse me. It's not going to do anything. So bomb now down. This time, it's not Mythic through the middle of the map just yet.
Oh, Mythic tries to get one, but could be in a bit of trouble. Tries to go for the trade as well, and there is a trade. It's a 3 versus 3. Players all over the map here. Brack finds Lucifer as well. Stanley going for the flank. Everybody heading towards the back, and it's now going to be a 1 versus 3. It's not going to matter. We're going to a round 11. It is now map and series point for Omit. Just map for the Magpies. Pressure is on.
Now play call from Omit in that round. If you can do it, we can do it too, and inarguably better. It's the play call that we've seen from the Magpies over and over again in this search and destroy. Get that bomb down on 8 and back all the way up towards Cobble. Omit pull it off. Mission Magpies have no way to counter it. And now into a round 11 we go for all the beans. Do or die time. If you lose this, Magpies, you're done. If you win this, Omit, you are Texas champions.
Mythics taking a bit of site control, but we'll know there's a trophy down close. Bomb going down very quickly here for them. They're going to be checking, but Stanley's close. I don't think they're getting away with this clean, and they're not going to, and Stanley will already find Henry. First blood has struck. Omit have gone aggressive. Bance has managed to get one back, though. 3 versus 3. Bomb not being defused quite yet. Players everywhere. Mythics is going back and forth, and it's really going to be a struggle, but they do eventually get it down.
Now they'll be looking to stretch the fuse here. Bance in the middle of the map needs to play his life, does play to perfection. 20 seconds on the clock now. Bance is just desperately trying to play his life, does so. You know where Lucifer's going to be.
They're waiting for him. They haven't said him. He's going to check it. He finds one. Finds the second. No. Has to now stay alive. Does just enough, and it will be the Magpies in the S&D again. Oh, my goodness. Patience of a saint. But the Magpies did not go quietly. And they've won their second S&D in a row, but that was a stressful round.
Oh, goodness. What a search and destroy. Round 11 for Mission Magpies to stay alive, and Harry pulls off an excellent 1 versus 2 to push us into yet another map. And, I mean, where do we even start? I genuinely thought, just like in the second game of this series, I genuinely thought when we were 3-1 up, I think it was, or something ridiculous like that, I don't exactly know what the advantage was. At that early advantage from Omit, I was like, yeah, Mission Magpies look lost. It was the exact same thing. The early rounds of Mission Magpies were so lackluster. And then they started to pull stuff together. Then they started to be significantly more confident, pull off more audacious plays. All comes down to 1 versus 2 from Harry, and he gets it done. What a play.
Well, it works out. I mean, that was just kind of pulling them all over the map, hoping for the best, really. I mean, Bance managed to stay alive for just a few more seconds, gave him the advantage on the clock, but you could even tell. I mean, Lucifer was a little bit worried about it when that player stood up. He's like, if I get gunned in half a second, I've lost this entire thing. But they stayed to fight a brownie. The problem is that there are more respawns coming. And so far, the Magpies have been pretty bad at them.
Yeah, they've been jammy in these search and destroys. What is this? 2 back-to-back round 11 victories with back-to-back back half wins, effectively, is what we'll call it for Mission Magpies. Their respawn has been abysmal. You guys can see it right down low, thanks to the production package from Clutch. You guys can see the entire series thus far. A 250 to 144 Vault hardpoint, a 3-1 Vault control, a 250 to 118 red card hardpoint. None of those are close, and we've been watching them as well. Like, the scorelines do not lie to you guys. Every single one of those respawns has been total dominance from Omit. They had never, ever lost control. 90% of the time, they are in full control of the game. Things have to be different on protocol control. And I know it's so easy for us here on the desk to say so, but you have to shut down the SMGs because they are constant nuisances. They're constantly running routes. And if you're not keeping an eye on those zips, because those are the ways in which SMGs are annoying here on protocol, Johnny and Stanley are going to rip you apart. And that has been the problem for all three of those respawns.
Well, is it going to be the same old story? Respawn for Omit. The Magpies finally take one and move on to the search. Everybody probably has their fingers crossed for this because it just hasn't been good for the Magpies. Is this the map? Or have Omit just been a cut above?
No, I'm pulling for Mission Magpies here. Not just, of course, because I'm a European bias caster, because I want to see a Game 7 here in the finals of the Optic Texas Open at Major 2. Mission Magpies got to win a respawn. Something you haven't been able to do so far. And it starts with winning the opening wave of engagements here on protocol control. That is a brilliant 2-hit coming through to clear out some space towards top trips. Every single gunfight going your way right now. This is the start that Mission Magpies wanted.
Maybe just a little bit of blood flowing from these close S&D wins has fired them up. Mythics will be the man. The myth, the legend. 5-0 so far. Punishing Omit, who still haven't managed to get a handle on him. There's 6. Still don't know where he is. They're worried that he's going to be on the flank here. There's 7. Surely not going to be 8. Eventually will fall. The rest of the team are here, and they are not letting them move.
Yeah, damage is done at this point. Right, you got 25 seconds left on the clock, and albeit Omit could come out with some miraculous time. Look at the life differential between these two teams now. Mythic's push forward has damaged the lives. It is now 10 life advantage and counting. RC's taking his team out in the play. I'm very sure that wasn't an intentional play whatsoever. I'm sure they'll be laughing about that one in the comms. They won't be laughing about the way this round has gone. Rack, one last-ditch effort to try and garner some space in the middle of the map. Has just made the spot that there's a player towards top doubles. Made over the top through alley as well. Omit might actually be able to get a point here towards consolation prize. I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case, though. RC's trying to keep this round alive.
Well, so far, they've got a tick. 5.6 seconds left, and the pressure continues to mount, but RC's staying alive. They did manage to get a play onto B briefly. And somehow, Omit might be able to get away with this. They certainly have. We're going to have an extra minute.
That life differential is still the biggest issue here for Omit. I don't doubt that a team like Omit could make it happen here in a 7v15. The problem is that you do have to be pretty much perfect. You have to clear out all the space. This is a phenomenal start. Harry even finding anything, though, in this situation is egregious. He finds one. Trade should be great from Henry, and they are. 4 versus 13. I would be pretty confident to say this isn't happening, although as a caster, I probably should.
Well, Johnny trying to make it happen on a 5 streak. Cutting them down, but it is a 3 versus 11. Awful long time to go, and Johnny is using the pistol to devastating effect. That's a 6 streak for them now. 2 versus 9, unfortunately. Now a 1 versus 9. Johnny just going to be running around looking for kills, really. Not an awful lot else he can bother to be done, so Magpies get that first round on the control.
Yeah, and that's something we haven't actually seen, I want to say, from a single protocol control, at least that you and I have casted over the last couple of days whatsoever. Like, I know that's how protocol control is supposed to be played. Like, you expect to see a team on the defense basically throttle a team on the offense. That spawn trap, though, we've seen close-up protocol controls basically the entirety of the weekend thus far. We have not seen a spawn trap like that, and it was all down to Mythitics. I think it was an 8 spree was what he finished on. They could not deal with him, and that's what we need to see from the likes of Mission Magpies here. If we've been talking up the SMG prowess of Omit the entire series thus far, Mission Magpies haven't had a lot to say in that department. Mythics has just shown that they have and they can. And that's the defense they wanted off the start, but now you've got to do something that is improbable. It's an offensive victory for Mission Magpies. They need to get it done.
Well, at the moment, not a lot of movement so far, getting a couple of kills. Just want to make this competitive. Already Lucifer is worried about people coming up the zip line.
And generally speaking, would be worried about that, to be fair, given the fact that that is how Omit have won the respawns out in this series thus far, as being a nuisance, with those SMGs. Harry trying to be a nuisance up top in trips, though, will do exactly that. Those SMGs are now behind you, though. There we go. Brack now will find a couple of kills, switches to the AMES for the second. and are now starting to do some damage. Mythics might well be pushed up here, but he can't actually do anything and has just got some horrendous Call of Duty timing. He's about to get shot in the back here. No value to be found, and now things will stabilize here for Omit. They've had a solid defense so far.
This is exactly what Omit wanted. Do the same that was done onto them. Magpies need to play TDM in their own spawn with no time really remaining. Trying to find the kills. Bance will find onto Arsenal. Brack is still going to be alive here, so Brack should find some more kills coming off the respawn, and, well, gets a little bit tagged up. They're still looking for him. Trying to find it as well, and he has managed to outplay Henry there. And now they're on to this point. Unfortunately, Brack's still running. Causes all kinds of issues as they go back to the respawn.
Yep, no chance in this round. This is now going to be 2 back-to-back spawn traps coming through. The first from Mission Magpies, the second from Omit. The difference being, Omit didn't give away a single tick of progression. They had no quarter to give Mission Magpies in that round. So we're talking about potential defense, round number 5, which you know is integral here on Control. Omit are on track to garner it. Just solid defense all throughout. I think there's a couple of moments there in that round where Omit do or have to deal with players that have gotten past the 50-yard line. Beyond that, though, don't really have much of a struggle in doing so. So brilliant defense there from Omit. Now Mission Magpies got to do what they did before. This time, more convincingly. You can't let A go again.
Well, here it comes. This could be a defining round. The Magpies so strong last time in defense. Looking to try and replicate. Unfortunately, that hasn't kicked off very well for them. Bance will get asked of these. Mythics is going to try and start churning. Unfortunately, they're already onto A here. Omit have come out with a bang.
Omit looking solid. A might already been gone. The way that Mission Magpies are playing here, they're playing to clear out B to make sure those transitions happen. Yeah, I mean, they just don't care. They're just immediately giving up the point. And now they're going for a bit of a late resurgence here. Mythics will be able to stop the clock before that second tick goes through. Damage might well have been done, though. That trade from Brack here, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. The mid-map presence from Omit is a struggle bus for Mission Magpies as they look to try and get the control of the spawn building. They just haven't done it. The kills are not going in their favor.
Nas is going back and forth, and well, technically that does give Magpies a little bit of an opportunity because A is still not captured. And they're actually doing a little bit here. Brack will have to try and kill Henry. Eventually, we'll call that out as well. So Henry should be not long for this world, but has managed to escape and it slides back and goes for a reach out. Henry on a bit of demon time, but falls in the end.
Wave of gunfights. That should be the vertical regression done over by A. So now Mission Magpies are going to have to clear out space. Arcety's already looking to get aggressive here. You've got to be very careful. You do not let this transition look smooth whatsoever. Harry has a lot to do inside the cup building. Now has to play his life. Arcety's piling on the pressure here. Players for Mission Magpies now looking to deal with it. Nice slide through from Henry. Does not get anything, though. Henry has to find some value here because the players are now stacking the point from it.
Still managing to keep them off for just a few more seconds. That's going to try and do all he can from the spawn here. And again, you can see the Magpies, slowly but surely, they are trying to push this back onto the map, but it is not working for them. The only thing it's really giving them is a bit of time to reinforce.
Omit with a slight life advantage at this point. Stanley has been allowed to get in behind enemy lines, a slight presence in towards Grandma's. Ants hasn't gotten that kill, and they still haven't traded him out. Stanley will take some shots from the crosshair. Should be very presently dealt with by Henry, and they will be, but he's done enough. He's created space around the front here. Omit are knocking at the door, but they're not finding the frags, and there will be a sigh of relief breathed for the Mission Magpies here as they find free in the feed, and now will be able to transfer themselves back towards the mid-map and get some mad presence.
For the Magpies, this is all about making Omit bleed as they look to retake map control. You can already see they're holding irons basically in a line across the map, looking for the easiest kills, but Stanley already finds Henry. Trade still continuing. For the Magpies, they now have the life advantage, and, well, they'll just continue to try and trade this.
And Mission Magpies will be very fortunate, very happy that they've managed to regain control of this round. One player has slipped the net. Brack could still blow this entire thing wide open. Bance is ready for it. Com is made. Harry's going to go straight for the kill and actually ends up giving up his position in doing so. Doesn't find either of those kills. Brack has just made this possible. 4 versus 5. No respawns remaining. You'll go now up the ladder. Bance is not ready for this play call. Omit have to go.
Bance tries to find the second. Isn't going to. Down to a 3 versus 3. Lucifer does not get the kill that they want here. And they are circling. However, that second tick is almost in. Omit will try and look every single direction. Johnny's already found Lucifer as well. Henry and Mythics would have to go monumental. It's down to a 2 versus 2, but that second tick is in.
Gotta go.
There's a flank all the way around. He's gone the long way. Henry has tried to make magic happen by going all the way around, and he jumps off the point. You can't win if you're not there.
You know, I think that might be the kind of the brain that Johnny's geared himself into for this entire series. It's just like, hey, a flank is earning me kill, so I'm just going to do it again, despite the fact that with 5 seconds on the clock, this flank is probably going to lose me the round. You know what, Johnny? Sometimes you are just that cracked out that you're not actually aware of what's going to win you the round. So we'll forgive you considering the rest of the series that you've had. But I will say, Mission Magpie is very fortunate to win that round. There were multiple moments, especially towards the end there, where Omit felt like they could have won it. But no. Omit have looked staunch on their defense. I will say, going into this round number 4, Mission Magpies haven't got a single tick of progression in that first effort. Here in the second, they have to be better, and they've got to have somebody else but Mythic step things up. He is 25 and 14 right now. The rest of the squad really lagging behind, and that first gunfight not going his way probably isn't going to help.
Well, the Magpies have an opportunity to get a respawn. They just have to convert an attack or whatever they get in the last round, depending on the ticks. And, well, Bragg just cut them down before they could do anything more onto 8. Henry has slipped through and will be looking for something in spawn, but they know he's there.
Magpies haven't done much in the way of moving forward towards the middle of the map. Bragg has actually slipped past a couple of players here. Henry will find value towards the spawn. So, Mission Magpies, I think the problem is they haven't got eyes on everybody. Bragg is a problem for this offensive push. You don't have much presence in the middle of the map. Players towards the point now being dealt with. Johnny locates Henry, and that was the ace in the hole. The Mission Magpies needed to keep on the board. Now you've lost that player push forward. This offensive push now starting to crumble.
Turns down all the way around, and we'll find a player, and continues to just run. And oh my goodness, you can't allow Johnny to just continue to find people sprinting. There's now, he basically has gone from one side of the map to the other. Eventually will be shut down.
And this is spawn trap though. 25 seconds left. This is a lot to ask for. Mission Magpies have to expend time in closing out every single corner. They're not doing it. Arstees is flying from wall to wall, picking up kills that he shouldn't be picking up. 15 seconds on the clock now. This round is done. Omit here in full control. Their defenses have been rock solid. And given that fact, it means that Mission Magpies will have to win an offense in round 5. It's a big ask.
Vance is trying to make the hero play. It's not going to be good enough, and that is a big ask. Because their offense has been, well, not great. It really hasn't gone well for them so far. For the Magpies, they've been struggling in the respawn. They needed to steal one with the S&Ds that they've been getting. And now they need to steal an attack. Has to be better than everything that has come before it. Every precedent that has been set so far for the slaying in respawns has been Omit GG. For the Magpies, this could be the last hurrah. Omit GG, round, series, championship point.
Gotta go now. Gotta have it. The difference maker for me is that Mission Magpies, every single time they've sent a flanking player through, it's Henry for the most part. They haven't really found anywhere near enough value. They're looking to do so off the opening hit here. Flanking play from Stanley has to be read, though. You can't just get players on the point. You need to find these gunfights, and Stanley is the biggest player. You've lost 3. Stanley now going to reveal himself. Can he find more value, though? Yes, he can. This push is now being slowed up down to that 2-piece.
Stanley has slowed this down, and, well, there's a 3. Will not allow them out. And Johnny again going up top. This is what Omit have been so good at. Mission Magpies have had no luck whatsoever at breaking this open. So it goes down to a TDM, and Lucifer's caught sprinting. They cannot get out of their own spawn.
There was that first push. It was all or nothing. The spawn trap from Omit has been perfect. Now you've got Stanley wrapping behind these players as well. Higher, says Stanley. Buyer, says Stanley. Second player has been called out. Third right in front of him. Stanley is shooting so damn straight at the moment. That third player does actually find some value here. So Henry, once again, kind of all falls on him with 40 seconds on the clock to do something on the flank. Will do exactly that. Trade is good, though. And Omit immediately resume what they've been doing to great success. Spawn trap. 35 seconds. You gotta go now.
Stanley is on a 9 streak. They've got to shut him down. Eventually will do, but so much time burns away, and Henry finds Brack. Couple of kills gone down. Arsene is sitting on A. There's going to be some pressure onto him as well here, but finds the kill. Mission Magpies need a miracle. They need divine intervention, and Johnny says no. 14 seconds in a dream. Omit just has to hold a wave of kills, and they will win challenges at the major. Here it goes. Standy again. He has just devastated them. Nobody alive. One player left onto it, and that'll be the final kill. It's Standy. It's done. It's Omit GG to win the Challenge Championship. And they do so every single respawn in dominating fashion. Couldn't get the S&Ds. Doesn't matter. A W in the score column.
Fair play to Omit. Their respawns have been exemplary. Played that protocol control to perfection, and while the scoreline sends us all the way to a round number 5, it has to be said that that respawn was arguably just as dominant, if not more so, than the other ones that we saw today from Omit, because in respawn they've looked absolutely eclectic. They didn't give away a single tick of progression in that final control. 3 rock-solid defenses, and every respawn that we saw from Omit today was on point. Everybody firing on all cylinders, and for that reason, Omit are your champions.
They've done it. They have battled